examples. There are probably others. Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay. It appears based on what you've described that this is a very beneficial arrangement for the county because of the way it's constructed in terms of the permit and the length of time. It does involve an alienation of parkland. You also have revenue that will be coming into Old Bethpage eventually, which will lead into creation of a ball field there. You'll be regrading the property, which is currently not regraded, so that they'll be more amenable to any sort of use that the county wants to have at that location. Creates jobs for our area, benefit to our economy, promotes our film industry. So it seems like there's many benefits to this. And in fact, some of the legislators who are not on this committee have expressed support, even though unfortunately don't get vote for this. Arnie Drucker, the legislator, has just indicated he supports, and I'm sure many of the other legislators here do as well. Any other questions or discussion? Legislator Bynum?
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Good evening. Has the HBO given you any idea as to how many jobs they'll be able to create through the construction of the building of the set? And
I'm a lawyer, so I'm hesitant to give numbers to you.
Just a projection.
I can, yes. So there's a construction phase and there's a filming phase.
Right.
Why don't we let the man who actually has the real numbers speak?
Yeah, what we're doing right now is that there'll be grading that will be going on. So it's a local engineering company. So the same way that you would be doing grading to do any kind of other sort of development work. So you would have a crew like that. I'm not sure the total number of crew, but I believe it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people over a period of time. We have a construction crew over at Gold Coast that are actually physically building the sets. I was down there today. There are people that are actually doing the work in Gold Coast. The construction crew is usually somewhere between 10 to 30 people on a daily basis for months on end. When we actually do the filming, we average usually about 150, 200 people a day on the crew. We expect at least a third to 50% of that crew to be here based in Nassau County. When we do filming days, we will have extras, usually on an average filming day, something like this, between 200 to 300 people. We expect that all of those extras would then be coming from Nassau County. We then also engage with local vendors around here, and so all of those businesses that we touch and we spend the money on. So the numbers, that's when they refer to, there's actually indirect effects as well by our presence here. And so it also makes common sense for us to use as much local talent. We don't really actually also be bringing people from other parts of the state, other parts of the country. It's our interest to use as many people as close to the location as possible in all of those aspects of the building, the construction, and the filming itself. Does that answer the question?
it does sufficiently. I was thinking also about the impacts to small businesses. I think that's going to be phenomenal. So thank you for bringing that point.
Yes.
When do I audition?
We want this to be something that everybody partakes in, so we welcome all of you to come down and visit the site.
You don't want me on that. Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else? Mr. Louis, did you want to add anything? Representing the neighbor.
We're actually going to welcome Jay to the neighborhood.
Just state your name.
Gary Louis. I am a trustee of the Museum of American Art. We have already begun to work cooperatively in hope and expectation that the legislature would approve this proposal. I would tell you that they are thoroughly engaged in talking about community relations, community affairs, creating a version instead of STEM, which is science and technology, creating a version of this in regards to theater groups and those who are in high school theatrical groups, so that they can begin to understand the complexity of theater and the opportunities and the career opportunities in theater. So we're enthusiastic about having them as a neighbor. My one regret was we offered them Tiger and Sherman tanks, and curiously their time period didn't allow it. But we're fully prepared and enthusiastic about working with them, and I appreciate the opportunity to publicly endorse them.
Next year.
We're hopeful. We're hopeful. Thank you.
Let's
I just have one quick question. You mentioned something about Gold Coast Studios earlier. In what capacity will you be working with them or partnering with them? I know they've been very successful, so I'm
They
just
have,
happy
yes.
to hear that.
They're actually one of the reasons we are out here. We were looking in this area. Gold Coast, we will actually be building some of our sets at Gold Coast. So we will be housing production offices, people there. So there will actually be one of the larger sets will actually be at Gold Coast. So it makes it very efficient for us to be here because then we just simply 15-20 minutes away go down the street and film as opposed to moving other parts. So it's a great partnership for us and it gives us a base of operation which makes it very efficient.
Great. Okay, thank you.
Minority Leader Abraham.
Sean, I guess this might be targeted to you. From our understanding of the fact that the property has been used by Tough Mudder in the past, and we're not too sure if this is a different location or the same location. Will that impact Tough Mudder being able to come back, or it seems like they've paid a lot of revenue to the county to utilize that property?
So yes, this will not impact the.
Excuse me, Legislator Dexter Chairman. Tough Motors and Parks have already rerouted their course, so this will not impact it at all.
Great, thank you.
All right, any other legislators?
Mr. McDermott, just out of curiosity, where has it been rerouted to?
That I don't know. They just did the complete walk.
Can you just come up? Can you please just talk in front of the mic? Thank you.
They just completed the rerouting yesterday or the day before, and I have not received a copy of the route. It will all be within OBDR.
I think your phone a friend is about to come in right now.
I don't have the answer, but we'll get that in for you so you know exactly where it's being rerouted.
Okay.
Ready. Any public comment?
J. Merity, just a couple of questions with regard to, again, the application of the community portion of that. How widespread will that be? How will diverse communities be advised of this and included into this, as well as diverse communities for business opportunities as well as jobs? Is there going to be any kind of, I don't want to say the word preference, but I've already said it, as it pertains to our veteran community from a business development standpoint as well as a workforce development standpoint, and the real emphasis is the community relations. I applauded the aspect of the young people being involved in the filming and the production. I'm just concerned when you say community or local community. Again, are we talking about being inclusive of a widespread region, and how are those jobs and opportunities going to be promoted to all of the communities so that they can participate as best as possible? But mostly, what are we talking about as it pertains to veteran participation as far as workforce, suppliers, extras, and things of that nature?
Permit me to respond in part because we have already begun having extensive conversations with my colleagues at HBO, and I base my mini brief response to a really good question based on the other work that I do, which some of you may know. I'm involved with the Ambassador Program with Third Track, which has become, I think, a national model for outreach, for inclusion, for the ability of reaching a variety of communities across the Nassau County Central Corridor. Elements of that model will be used by HBO to be able to address all the questions that have been asked here as far as how far into Nassau County's various communities can we reach in terms of business, in terms of small business, in terms of the veterans community, in terms of students, and the diverse community that Nassau County represents. It is the beginning of this process, but I have to tell you already there has been more than a casual interest in basically lifting the model we're using for the Ambassador Program of Third Track and applying its applicable elements to exactly what we're talking about. as far as outreach.
Just on behalf of HBO, I just want to say that diversity and inclusion are a top line agenda for us in all parts of our business. And in particular, when we bring productions into new areas, it is first and foremost a priority for us. We do look for local people to reach out to and to work with both in this, and we are open and look for those opportunities everywhere that they're out there. So we welcome that communication and interaction. Thank you.
I have a minute 14 left. My last point has to do again with accessibility for people with disabilities, for them to also be able to partake in this type of platform. And I think that we have very unique features on Long Island and Nassau County, and I want to make sure that all of our residents, all of our citizens have equal access as best as possible. And I do appreciate the fact that you are going to address that flooding issue in that area, because that has been an area of concern. And I'm sure that the veteran community would like to know when that information is in place. I do know a number of veterans, particularly those at our local colleges and universities who participate in the Tough Mudder. So if we can make sure that information gets to them about the relocation, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to thank Mr. Louis, the representatives of HBO, for your patience. We're here for a good 4 hours or so now. But thank you. And Mr. Griffo, Sally, thank you for the presentation. Anyone else up there have any other questions? All right. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, carries unanimously. So the Rules Committee is now in recess, and we'll proceed to the other committees.
I wasn't on this committee, so I wasn't Thank you so much. I'm glad it got done.
Yeah.